Have you ever met someone who shares your zodiac sign, but feels like a completely different person? Maybe you're both Sagittarius, yet you think, feel, and live in totally opposite ways. Here's a surprising truth. Your exact birth date inside Sagittarius unlocks something few people ever talk about. It's called the 3 decans. And each decan shapes a totally unique version of Sagittarius, deep inside your personality, your emotions, and even your way of seeing life itself. So, what if your birth date could explain why you crave solitude, while another Sagittarius needs constant company? What if it could reveal why you're endlessly searching for answers, or why success feels like your only way forward? And what if your deepest strengths have been hidden right in your birth date all along? In this video, we'll explore the 3 types of Sagittarius. Not just the traits, but the hidden psychological patterns, the emotional truths, the stories that shape how you love, how you dream, and how you grow. If you're curious about your true self, stay with me. This journey is more personal than you expect. And hey, if you love exploring astrology, psychology, and personal growth, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Now, let's begin. What type of Sagittarius are you, really? Have you ever felt like your mind is constantly searching for something, but you're not quite sure what it is? Like there's this invisible force pulling you forward, making you crave new experiences, new knowledge, and deeper answers? If you were born between November 22nd and December 1st, you're living under what astrology calls the first decan of Sagittarius, the adventurer. But this isn't just about loving to travel or having a curious mind. It's something deeper, something psychological. People born in this decan carry a hunger within them. A hunger that shows up not just in their love for the unknown, but in the way they think, in the way they love, and in how they relate to the world around them. Let's imagine someone you might know. Maybe it's even you. Someone who books trips without thinking, who signs up for new classes just to learn something they've never heard of before. Someone who starts conversations not because they need company, but because they want to exchange ideas. It's not randomness. It's not restlessness. It's a subconscious search for meaning. These Sagittarius people aren't just trying to explore the world. They're trying to explore themselves. Every new experience, every new thought, every question they ask others, is actually a question they're asking themselves. And that's where solitude comes in. You might think someone born under the sign of the adventurer would hate being alone. But the truth is, solitude is where their soul feels most at peace. It's in those quiet hours, maybe with a book, maybe on a solo walk, maybe just sitting in silence, that they feel whole. Solitude for them isn't isolation. It's like breathing. It's the space where they can let their thoughts untangle, where all the noise of the outside world fades away, and where they can reconnect with their true purpose. They're not avoiding people. They're simply listening to their own mind, their own spirit. It's in these quiet moments that they start piecing together the answers they've been chasing all along. But being an adventurer isn't always easy. This inner drive to experience life often pushes them to act before thinking. Maybe you've seen it. Someone who says yes to something risky without stopping to ask why. Someone who jumps into a new project, a new job, a new relationship, because they felt the spark of curiosity, only to realize later that they weren't fully ready. This isn't failure. It's part of their journey. Taking risks, even reckless ones, isn't about proving something to others. It's about pushing their own limits. They're testing how far they can go, how much they can feel, and how deep their mind can dive. Every risk, every mistake, every success, they're all pieces of the same puzzle. There's also a fascinating paradox within these Sagittarius souls. They crave freedom, yet they long for connection. They want deep relationships, but they fear being trapped. In friendships, in love, in work, they need space. Not because they don't care, but because space is where they can grow. If you're close to someone like this, the greatest gift you can give them is trust. Trust their need to step away sometimes. Trust that their moments of silence aren't distance from you. Their journey's inward. And when they return, they'll bring back stories, ideas, and insights you've never heard before. Their relationships are built on authenticity. They don't have time for games or surface-level conversations. They seek people who challenge them, who make them think, who let them be free yet stay connected. It's a delicate balance. And if you're that person for them, you'll find yourself part of a life story that's anything but ordinary. But perhaps the most beautiful trait of the adventurer Sagittarius is their need to share. Not because they want to preach. Not because they think they know it all. But because sharing what they've learned is how they understand themselves better. They become teachers without meaning to. Mentors to friends. Storytellers in conversations. You've probably noticed this if you've ever spoken to one. They light up when they explain something new they've discovered. Their eyes sparkle when they tell you about a new philosophy, a new book, or a strange little life lesson they stumbled upon. This act of sharing isn't about giving answers. It's about inviting others on their journey. It's about saying, hey, I'm still figuring this out too. Let's figure it out together. It's how they heal, how they grow, and how they connect. If you're listening to them, you're not just hearing facts. You're witnessing a soul trying to make sense of life in real time. So, if you're an adventurer Sagittarius, or you know someone who is, remember this: every risk they take, every moment they disappear into solitude, every late-night conversation about life's mysteries, it's all part of their search. Not just for knowledge, but for meaning, for self-understanding, for inner peace. And maybe, just maybe, their search can inspire yours. Now, if you're born between December 2nd and December 11th, your journey is different. You belong to what astrology calls the second decan of Sagittarius, the entrepreneur. But don't let the name fool you. This is not just about building businesses or chasing money. It's about something much deeper. Something written into the way you think about success, and how you connect it to your own worth. People in this decan carry a fire inside. Mars energy. The planet of action, of determination, of war. And you feel that war inside you every single day, don't you? The pressure to move forward. The constant need to achieve. The silent question that plays in your head: am I doing enough? Am I enough? Think about someone you know who can't sit still. Who's always working on something. Always planning, building, pushing. Maybe that person is you. Always thinking about the next step. The next win. The next goal. But here's the truth most people don't see: behind all that motion is emotion. That drive to succeed isn't just about goals. It's about self-respect. It's about proving to yourself that you matter. That you're capable. That you're strong enough to build your own life. Your own success, on your own terms. But what happens when you slow down? What happens when results don't come as fast as you want? That's when frustration kicks in. That's when your impatience takes over. And it's not just impatience with the world. It's impatience with yourself. You wonder, why am I stuck? Why isn't this working? Why can't I move faster? You push harder. But deep down, what you're fighting is fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear of failing yourself. I want you to pause for a moment. Think about your own life. Have there been times when you rushed into something, not because you were ready, but because standing still felt like failure? Have there been moments when you made a quick decision, not from clarity, but from fear of missing your chance? This is the hidden battle of the entrepreneur Sagittarius. Mars gives you the courage to act. But sometimes, that same courage blinds you to the need for patience. For strategy. For rest. That's why solitude isn't just helpful for you. It's necessary. Not the kind of solitude where you're scrolling your phone or distracting yourself. I'm talking about true, mindful solitude. Moments where you step back. Sit in silence. Let your thoughts settle. Because that's when clarity comes. That's when your next real step appears. Not from rushing forward blindly, but from trusting yourself enough to pause. Imagine yourself sitting alone in a quiet room. No noise. No pressure. Just you and your thoughts. At first, it's uncomfortable. You feel restless. But if you stay long enough, something shifts. The fog clears. The fear fades. And suddenly, you know what to do next. This is where your true power lives. Not in the chaos, but in the quiet after the chaos. You see, risk-taking for you isn't just a personality trait. It's survival. It's how you've learned to break through obstacles. To make progress when others hesitate. You take the leap even when no one else dares. And that's beautiful. That's brave. But every strength has a shadow. And for you, that shadow is rushing into battle without knowing why. Your Mars energy makes you a warrior. But even warriors need time to sharpen their swords. To rest their minds. To heal their hearts. Because when you fight every day without pause, the battle moves inside you. And the enemy becomes your own exhaustion. So here's the truth you need to hear. Your value isn't tied to how much you achieve. Your worth isn't measured by productivity. You are enough even when you're still. Even when you're thinking. Even when you're resting. Let that truth sink in. It will change how you lead. How you work. How you live. Now, think about your goals. Your ambitions. The things you're building. Are they what you truly want? Or are they what you think you need to prove? This is the question that can change your life. If you can answer it honestly, you'll stop running from fear. And you'll start creating from purpose. Remember this too, people around you see your energy. They're inspired by it. They follow you because you lead with passion. But leadership doesn't mean walking alone. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let others help you. Let them share your load. Let them in. So if you're an entrepreneur Sagittarius, your journey is about more than success. It's about self-trust. It's about knowing when to act and when to be still. It's about learning that your greatest victories come not when you fight hardest, but when you lead yourself with clarity, not fear. And when you master that balance, you won't just build businesses. You'll build a life that feels true. You'll stop chasing goals that drain you. And start creating a future that fulfills you. But this is just the middle of your story. Because what if I told you, the final decan of Sagittarius holds the most radiant energy of all? The next part of this video will reveal the wisdom, the creativity, and the inner power that only the third decan truly understands. And maybe, just maybe, it's the most controversial truth in all of Sagittarius. Stay with me. It's about to get even deeper. If you were born between December 12th and December 21st, your soul carries something different. Something powerful. Something radiant. You belong to the third decan of Sagittarius, the wise one. But don't let that name mislead you. Wisdom doesn't always look like silence or stillness. Sometimes, it looks like confidence. Sometimes, like creativity. And sometimes, like standing tall in a room full of people, knowing exactly who you are. People born under this decan are touched by the sun itself. That means your energy isn't just something you carry inside. It's something people feel when they're near you. Have you ever noticed how people seem drawn to you without knowing why? Maybe in conversations. Your words carry weight even when you speak softly. Maybe your presence fills the space, even when you're not trying to. This is your solar energy working through you. And it's not just about brightness. It's about warmth. People feel safe around you. Inspired. Seen. Like you can give them answers they didn't even know they were looking for. But here's what most people don't understand. Your confidence, your charm, they're not acts. They're the result of something deeper. A connection with yourself. A knowing that doesn't come from books or teachers, but from life itself. You've been through things. You've questioned. You've doubted. And somewhere along the way, you found your center. You found your voice. That's why people listen when you speak. They feel your truth. Still, there's a shadow side to this solar strength. Sometimes, without realizing it, you might take up too much space. Not in a selfish way, but simply because your energy is so powerful, so magnetic, that it fills the room before you even try. Maybe in conversations, you notice people stepping back while you step forward. Maybe your opinions seem to shape the entire direction of a group. This isn't your fault, but it's something to be aware of. Your strength can empower others. Or, if left unchecked, it can overshadow them. That's why your wisdom is your anchor. It reminds you that leadership isn't about being louder. It's about lifting others up as you shine. It's about using your voice, not to dominate, but to guide. So, when you speak, ask yourself, am I speaking to teach? Or to be heard? That small difference changes everything. And yet, your wisdom isn't your only gift. There's something else, something many people overlook when they talk about Sagittarius. Your creativity. It's not just a hobby. It's your language. It's how your soul expresses emotions you can't explain. Whether it's through art, music, writing, or even the way you decorate your space, creativity for you is healing. It's where your inner world meets the outer world. It's where your feelings find form. Maybe you've written something late at night, pouring out thoughts that felt too heavy to carry. Maybe you've painted, drawn, or danced your way through confusion or sadness. That's not random. It's your subconscious guiding you. It's your way of processing life. Let yourself create. Even if no one sees it. Even if it never becomes something big. Because when you create, you reconnect with your center. You release what you've been holding inside. You remind yourself who you are. But there's something even more beautiful in you. You don't just want to create. You want to share. Not for fame. Not for praise. But because wisdom, once discovered, demands to be passed on. It's like a fire that burns brighter the more people you light with it. Maybe you've noticed this in your life. Friends coming to you for advice. Strangers opening up to you without knowing why. People trusting you with their worries, their questions, their hopes. You're not just a listener. You're a guide. A teacher. A mentor, even if you don't call yourself that. When you share your knowledge, when you help someone find their own answers, you feel fulfilled. You feel like your experiences, your struggles, your lessons, they had a purpose. But even guides need to retreat sometimes. Because your mind never stops. You're always thinking. Always questioning. Always trying to understand more. That's why solitude is your secret space. People think you're social. They think you love the spotlight. And yes, you do. But what they don't see is how much you need time alone. Not to hide. Not to escape. But to reconnect with your higher self. Picture yourself in a quiet morning. No noise. No expectations. Just sunlight through the window. A journal. A cup of tea. This is where your wisdom deepens. This is where your thoughts slow down. Where your inner voice becomes clear again. Without these moments, your light burns too hot. Too fast. But in silence, you recharge. You realign. Solitude for you isn't loneliness. It's growth. It's where your wisdom is refined and your creativity reignited. Don't ignore this need. Don't feel guilty for stepping back when the world wants your attention. When you care for your inner world, your outer world shines brighter. And when you return to people, to projects, to your work, you return as a leader. Not just of others, but of yourself. So, if you are the wise one, Sagittarius, remember, your light is a gift. Your wisdom is your strength. Your creativity is your soul speaking. And your solitude is your sanctuary. Honor all of them. Live all of them. And yet, we're not done. Because the last 3 insights in this journey are the most profound of all. They reveal something hidden within every Sagittarius, no matter your decan. A secret that explains why you seek, why you wander, and why your soul will never fully settle. Stay with me. What comes next may change how you see yourself forever. No matter which decan of Sagittarius you belong to, there's something all Sagittarians share. A force deep inside you. A calling that never quite lets you rest. It's the endless search for truth. For understanding. For something more. Maybe you've felt it. That feeling like your life is a journey you can't pause. Like even when you're standing still, your mind keeps moving. Keeps questioning. Keeps searching. This is the soul of Sagittarius. And it's not just about adventure. It's about meaning. About the need to make sense of life itself. But let's go deeper. Because this constant search affects more than your actions. It shapes your relationships. Your emotions. Your entire view of yourself. Whether you're the adventurer, the entrepreneur, or the wise one thing remains the same: you're not meant to fit into small spaces. You're not designed to live by other people's rules. Society often teaches us to follow the path. To settle down. To be content with what we have. But if you're a Sagittarius, that doesn't work for you. And that's not a flaw. It's a feature of your soul. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever felt guilty for wanting more? For changing your mind? For leaving behind things that no longer felt right, even if they looked perfect from the outside? Maybe you ended a relationship others thought was great, because deep down, your soul felt trapped. Maybe you quit a job or moved cities, not because things were bad, but because you felt a silent voice inside telling you, keep going. That voice is real. It's your inner compass. And the sooner you learn to trust it, the freer you'll become. But freedom isn't always comfortable. It comes with doubt. With loneliness. With questions like, why can't I just be satisfied? Here's the truth you need to hear: Sagittarius energy isn't about being satisfied. It's about expansion. Growth. Becoming more of yourself every day. You're not running from life. You're running towards something. Even if you don't know what that is yet. And that's where solitude becomes your teacher. Because while the world sees Sagittarius as outgoing, extroverted, full of life, many forget how much you need time alone. Not just to recharge, but to reflect, to process, to understand yourself. Solitude for you isn't an escape from people. It's a return to yourself. It's where you ask the deeper questions. Who am I now? What have I learned? Where am I heading next? Think of the times when you felt most clear. Most certain. It wasn't during the chaos. It was in the quiet. A walk by yourself. A late-night journal session. A long car ride with no destination. These aren't meaningless moments. They're your soul realigning with your purpose. So if you find yourself needing space, don't apologize for it. Don't feel guilty. Solitude is your fuel. Your medicine. Your map. And yet, your search for freedom isn't just about you. Whether you realize it or not, you're a guide for others. People around you watch how you live. How you choose freedom over comfort. How you ask questions instead of accepting easy answers. Without trying, you inspire people to break their own patterns. To rethink their own lives. You show them what's possible when you follow your truth. But that can be a heavy responsibility, can't it? Sometimes, people expect you to have all the answers. To always be strong. Always be sure. And that can feel exhausting. That's why your wisdom needs to include softness. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to admit you're still searching. Because that vulnerability is what makes your wisdom real. And that's perhaps the greatest lesson Sagittarius teaches. That life isn't about arriving at answers. It's about asking better questions. It's about knowing that not all who wander are lost. That sometimes, wandering is exactly where you're meant to be. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're at the start of something new, or standing in the middle of uncertainty, trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming. And remember, your freedom isn't selfish. It's sacred. Your solitude isn't loneliness. It's clarity. Your endless search isn't aimless. It's the deepest expression of who you are. But as powerful as all this sounds, there's something even deeper waiting. The final truths of Sagittarius. The mysteries most people never talk about. In the last part of this journey, we'll uncover the 3 hidden insights that explain why your soul was born to wander, and why embracing that fact could change your life forever. Stay with me. What's coming next might just shift how you see your entire existence. Now, let me tell you a secret. Sagittarius energy isn't really about reaching anything. It's not about finding some final answer where everything suddenly makes sense. It's about learning how to live inside the question itself. This is why you seek. Why you move. Why your soul never truly settles. Not because you're lost, but because you're designed to expand. You're here to push boundaries. Not just in the outside world, but inside your own mind. Inside your own heart. Every time you take a risk, every time you change direction, even when people don't understand, what you're doing is honoring that inner compass. That quiet voice that says, keep growing. Keep searching. Keep becoming. Life for you isn't about finding a destination. It's about evolving as you walk. Learning as you fall. Starting over as many times as you need to. That's not failure. That's who you are. But here's something you might not have noticed. While you're out there seeking freedom, chasing knowledge, building your own path, you're actually carrying something much deeper. You're carrying hope. Whether you realize it or not, your journey gives hope to others. Hope that it's okay to question life. Hope that it's okay to choose a different way. Hope that they, too, can trust their own inner compass. Think about that for a moment. Think about how many people have watched your choices, your bravery, your quiet wisdom, and felt a little more permission to listen to themselves. That's the quiet legacy of Sagittarius. You don't just live for yourself. You live as an example that freedom is possible. That seeking is valuable. That the unknown isn't something to fear, but something to explore. And that is your gift. But here's where it gets personal. Because maybe, at times, you've doubted yourself. Maybe people told you you're too restless. Too impatient. Too intense. Maybe you felt guilty for not fitting into the life others expected from you. If you've ever felt that way, listen carefully now. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much. You're not lost. You're not broken. You are a Sagittarius. You are the seeker. The philosopher. The dreamer who refuses to give up. And your path isn't supposed to look like anyone else's. Maybe your life moves in circles, not straight lines. Maybe your heart needs space before it can open. Maybe your mind never stops asking why. That's not something you need to fix. That's something you need to embrace. So next time you find yourself feeling restless, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" ask, "Where is life calling me next?" Instead of saying, "I need to settle down," say, "I'm ready to grow." Because that shift changes everything. And when you meet others like you, other souls who search, welcome them. Share your stories. Share your lessons. Not because you have the answers, but because you understand what it means to be on the journey. Now, before we end, let me ask you this. Did you see yourself in this story? Did you hear your own questions in this journey? Because if you did, know that you're not alone. And if someone you love carries this Sagittarius energy, share this video with them. Maybe it's the reminder they need. If this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We'll keep exploring together. There's so much more to uncover. About the stars. About the soul. About you. And if you feel like it, leave a comment. Tell me your birth date. Tell me which decan you belong to. Or just share what part of this journey resonated with you most. You never know who your story might help. Remember, you are not meant to settle. You are meant to seek. And I promise, your search has meaning. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, keep listening to your soul.